press the bell icon to never miss a video from Knowledge Seeds. Knowledge is power.
God is timeless and eternal. The divisions of time do not exist for him. In the projected worlds, it becomes divisible as a cyclical and repetitive phenomenon. Time is the foundation of life. Time is a source of change, movement, instability, and impermanence. In Saivism, it is regarded as one of the finite realities, tattvas, of nature. Self, Purusha, and nature, Prakriti, are both eternal. In Hinduism, time is not linear, but cyclical. Because of time, creation itself becomes cyclical and repetitive. While we cannot predict the events on the timeline of the Earth or the cosmos, we can predict the recurring events of time. Chaturyugas, the four epochs of time. The Puranas divide each cycle of creation into four divisions or epochs, called yugas. Each yuga has a specific time frame, a definite purpose. Their sequence is fixed, but the time frame of each yuga varies. 1. Satyayuga or Satyuga, the Yuga of Truth, also called Krita Yuga, which lasted for 1,728,000 Earth years. 2. Treta Yuga, the second Yuga, which lasted for 1,296,000 Earth years. 3. Dwapara Yuga, the third Yuga, which lasted for 864,000 Earth years. 4. Kali Yuga, the fourth Yuga or the Age of Darkness, which lasted for 432,000 Earth years. All these yugas add up to Mahayuga, which has the duration of 4,320,000 Earth years. The world has already passed through the first three yugas, and currently it is passing through the fourth one, namely the Kali Yuga. Due to absence of concrete evidence is the main reason why the concept of yuga does not appeal to the intellectual minds. According to the theory of yuga, our civilization must be at least 4 million years old, but the earliest remains of the human civilization are hardly 30,000 years old. The skepticism leaves us with just two possibilities: either the yugas are figments of human imagination, or the existence of life upon Earth in the past ages must have happened differently in an alternate reality. A new theory of involution and evolution of life upon Earth. According to this theory, human souls appeared upon Earth long ago, but they became embodied in physical bodies only recently. While lower life forms acquired physical bodies millions of years ago, human beings acquired them only from the beginning of Kali Yuga. Human beings in Satyayuga were pure and divine. As time went by, the souls came under the influence of rajas and tamas and grew increasingly impure. First, they developed subtle bodies and possessed divine qualities. Later, after a few million years, they developed gross bodies and grew increasingly materialistic, whereby they lost their purity as well as knowledge of their spiritual nature. Thus, we are products of a long physical evolution and spiritual involution. We grew bodies but lost touch with our souls, and from divine beings we devolved into human beings. Satyayuga or the Age of Divine Souls. Satyayuga or the Age of Truth. Souls had no visible or tangible physical bodies. They were the purest of souls from the previous time cycle. They had only one body, the bliss body. Since they were pure and without impurities, they abided in truth and lived virtuously. Beings of this age had godliness and divine qualities as their natural state. They were also seers and knowers of the self. They had no dense physicality because of the purity of their intention. They had longer lifespans and lived for hundreds or even thousands of years. Beings of this age were truthful and free from selfish desires, lust, anger, pride, greed and envy. They possessed supernatural abilities, siddhis. Treta Yuga, the age of intelligent beings. Treta Yuga, which was the age of virtue and wisdom. The souls developed intelligence bodies. They had discernment and insight into the nature of things. They had astral bodies, which were subject to modifications such as aging and sickness. They were occasionally subjected them to selfishness, egoism and loss of discretion. Beings in this age still retained much of their purity. They lost awareness of their bliss bodies, which subjected beings to suffering and delusion. The age also witnessed the decline of Dharma. People pursued mostly three of the four aims, namely Dharma, Artha, and Karma, and ignored the fourth, liberation. The humans upon earth whereby they became vulnerable to evil influences. Dwapara Yuga, the age of mental beings. Dwapara Yuga, during which the souls acquired mental and breath bodies. They probably had dense astral bodies and subtle senses. People had the predominance of sattva and rajas. They had mixed qualities of light and darkness. They became susceptible to emotions, feelings, egoism, delusion, pride and selfishness. It was the age in which humans developed both divine and demonic qualities as enumerated in the Bhagavad Gita. Due to ignorance and delusion, they lost their discernment and ignored their obligatory duties. Virtue still reigned, but virtuous people like Bhishma, Dharmaru and Vijaya were few. Even their judgment was often colored by selfish desires and worldly concerns. Warriors like Arjuna and Karna were able to summon their mental powers to unleash mighty weapons against their enemies, but they were subject to negative emotions such as anger, envy, fear or sorrow. Seers and sages had control over their minds and bodies and led pious lives, but they could be tempted by gods and led astray. Kali Yuga, the age of physical beings. It is also the shortest yuga. Tamas became the most dominant. People in this age have dense physical bodies. They are vulnerable to evil influences and sinful actions. Today's world, most people are obsessed with their bodies, looks, names and forms, while they are motivated by sexual desires, worldly possessions and sense gratification. They predominantly pursue sexual pleasure, karma, and material wealth, artha, ignoring their righteous duties, dharma, and the pursuit of liberation, moksha. Kali Yuga is the age of gross materialism. People lose the knowledge of their spiritual nature and fully identify themselves with their minds and bodies. Desire-ridden actions and excessive materialism have disrupted the order and regularity of our world. The age is truly the age of Asuras. We have expanded the horizons of our perceptual knowledge far into the material universe, but we cannot look deep within our personalities to know who we truly are. Our consciousness is now so mixed up with our physical identities and egoism that we have lost much of our divinity, humanity and virtues. Kali Yuga, evil will reign and chaos will increase until it becomes utterly unbearable for life to thrive. God will release the worst of the souls into the mortal world to give them one last chance to redeem themselves. In the end, there will be a great destruction, during which the bodies of all the embodied souls will be completely destroyed and the souls will be withdrawn from the field of nature. It will be followed by a period of rest, after which a new cycle of creation will begin. Time progresses from one epoch to another, people grow increasingly materialistic and correspondingly less spiritual. Their focus shifts from within to without. We do not have historic data to corroborate the events that took place in the Ramayana and the Mahabharata or the legends from the Puranas. There are certainly some incidents in both the epics which suggest that they might have had some historical basis, but we cannot conclusively establish them with factual evidence. The same may be true with regard to the legends of the Puranas. Since they happened in our ancient past, when we were still evolving through subtle planes and our consciousness was descending outwardly into physical matter, we might have retained their memory in our collective consciousness. We can still communicate without subtle planes and enter those worlds through deep meditative states. However, it requires discipline and intense spiritual effort. With effort, in just one lifetime we can reverse the devolution of consciousness which happened over 4 million years and through the 4 yugas.